Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Building a SaaS. In this series, we are going to sit down together and in a half an hour each day, we're going to build a SaaS application. We're not going to build a SaaS application each half hour. We're going to basically be on this road to building a software as a service, and we're going to do it in only a half an hour a day. So the software as a service that we are creating is called Fancy Bar, and this allows you to add a call to action bar or pop-up on your website. So the software as a service starter kit that we're using is called Wave, and if you haven't checked it out yet, be sure to check out devdojo.com/wave. This is an open source script. You can think of it kind of like WordPress, so you can think of it kind of like a SaaS starter kit CMS. So you can build your own software as a service using this tool. It has themes and a bunch of functionality out of the box that will save you hundreds of hours, and it has a lot of the key building blocks for every software as a service like billing, subscriptions, authentication, invoices, and so much more. So that's enough about the software as a service starter kit that we're going to be building. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer so we don't go over on a half an hour for this video. So I think in this video, we're going to work together to build out a little bit more of the dashboard. So from the last video, we created this page that we could go to that we could see the current bars that we have. So if we click on 001, I think we had a delay on that and it ended up opening up after that delay. Yeah, I think we set it for like a 3-second delay. So maybe I will change that. But essentially we have this place that we can go to that we can see all the current bars that we're working with. And we'll probably have a screenshot of each one that we can click, and then it can show the bar. And I was thinking that this could also be really good as a showcase. So on the main site, we could have showcase button. So you click on the showcase and it has a bunch of thumbnails of the different bars. And as you click on it, it can then real time show you what the bar looks like. So let's go ahead and just change that time, because we click on it and it seems like nothing happens. But then if you wait 3 seconds, then the bar eventually shows. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And I think I'll go ahead and just close everything to start off fresh. So this was inside of resources, views, themes, tall stack, and I think that was just the bars.blade file. And I think down here we had this delay. We just had that hard coded as 3000. And again, this is going to be something that is going to be configurable by the user. So if I were to set that to 300 milliseconds, and if we reload this and we click, it's going to happen almost instant. We could then just set that to 0, which is probably what the default is going to be. So as you click on it, it should just show up automatically. So we can preview each one of our bars here. And you can see that they have that nice sliding animation. So like I said, we were probably going to work on the dashboard a little bit because we haven't really worked on that too much. And it's nice to jump around between the different areas of your application, like designing the bars, showing them on the showcase, possibly even working on your funnel, and then working on your dashboard as well. So let's go into the dashboard. And while I'm here, one thing that I want to do is I also want to change up the colors a little bit. So I do have these blue colors and I want to just change those to either gray or black. So I should be able to do a search inside of this theme and say find in folder. Maybe I have BG blue 500. Maybe that was 600. Huh. Let me see what that background color has. Oh, that's right, we were BG Wave 500, so that was a custom color that we added to the Tailwind config. So if I look inside of this Tailwind config.js, there was a custom blue color, which is this color wave, and you could feel free to remove this if you want to, or you could use it. But I'm going to actually change the values of this wave color to be kind of a black color. So there's this tool I found, it was called like a Tailwind color generator. I think that it was something like that. Tailwind color generator. So you can pass it one color and then it will give you all the different shades. So this looks like it's it right here. Selecting a base color. Let's start with a dark kind of gray. See, that's pretty cool. It gives me all these different variations, 50, 100. It looks like those all turn black. Black rock. Let's see, maybe I wanted to have a different color that's more just kind of gray. So like we have this gray color. Let's see what that is. A0, A0, C0. That's kind of nice looking. But it does look a little too blue than I want down here, so let me try something else. So A0, AE, instead of C0, I'm going to say B5. And it's still not what I want. Maybe I want that to be not as light. So I said B5 before, so I'm going to bump these all down one, or maybe a couple. So we'll say 7, 7, and 8. Okay, that looks a little bit better. So I do like this 900 and then that 800 color. So I'm going to use all of these colors right here. We have 50 through 900. So I'm just going to copy that, and I'm going to change that with this wave color here. So if I save that, let's see if our asset runner is watching. Asset runner is running. npm run watch. Oh, I actually have to be inside of my resources views, themes, and tall stack theme. So if I do npm run watch, it should now recompile the theme, and this new wave color should have these hex values right here. So this is actually a really good way that you could download the theme and then modify the color. If your primary color scheme is maybe an orange or a pink, you could just change the color of the wave right here. And I probably could have named this something different than wave. I could have named it default, but we'll just go with this for now. So let's go back here to the sign in, and it doesn't, oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, so now we have those colors here, and it actually is a little bit lighter than I want it to be. So I still want this to be quite a bit darker. Let me start off maybe this as the base. Yeah, so let me do even one shade darker. I could just do black across the board, although that's not going to look that great. I do want to have a little bit of blue in there. So let me go again with that 02, 02, 1, 5. Maybe too much blue. So let's do 02, 02, and maybe 1, 0. It's still giving me a lot of blue. Don't know if I like that. Okay, you're kind of just watching me play with colors here. 0, let's say 4, 0, 4, 0, 9. Yeah, I think this thing probably tries to add a lot of blue in there. Yeah, I think here's like a saturation. That's pretty cool. So I really don't want much. You know what, let's go with this and see what we're going to get here. And even if not, we could change this later on down the road. Okay, let's save that. We'll wait for the npm to build. And now we'll do a hard refresh. And that looks quite a bit better. So we might have actually just selected, is that the black right there? Yeah, but if we go a little bit lighter, you can see that kind of like these hover effects, it has like a nice gray color. So I think that's good for now. We have the color scheme that looks quite a bit more black, similar to our website. So I can go to sign in, and I'm going to sign in as admin at admin.com and password. And you'll see also down here in our footer, I will probably also want to change the logo. So we'll do that before the end of the video. And it looks like there are a few things that have changed that don't look as good after we change that color, which is this piece right here and this, but we're not going to use these pieces. I'll probably change up the way that the dashboard looks. Yeah, but I think everything else is looking pretty good. So I do want to change the way that the sidebar looks. So I probably want to have sites at the top and then maybe bars right there. And I don't like the swatches icon anymore. I was thinking, that's kind of funny, this swatches icon is the same favicon that Tailwind Shades uses. I was thinking about just finding a rectangle icon because I think that would symbolize more of like a bar. So I could even use just like this bar that we're using for our fancy bar logo. But I'm going to use a website that I may have already recommended that I use quite a bit. It's called the Noun Project, and I'm going to search for rectangles. So I'm going to find a nice rectangle SVG. This one looks kind of nice. I want to find one with really good like rounded corners. Okay, I like the way that this one looks, but I probably want to rotate this. So I'm going to say get this icon. And I'll download the SVG. And I'm going to open this with Sketch. Okay, so this is pretty large. Actually, it's not that big. Probably just zoomed in quite a bit. Let me rotate this. Rotate. Yeah, I think that would look pretty good. So let me copy this SVG code and go to the OMG SVG website. This way we can strip out some of the unnecessary SVG code. So I'm going to copy that, and then we need to go back into, I think this was our, was it main? No, it was app.blade.php inside of the tall stack theme. So we have all the icons. I think it's over here. View profile. Search all inboxes. Where's our icons? Narrow sidebar. Okay, so we have bars right here. And I want to replace this SVG with this one. So we'll want to change the view box to be 00823 and 427. And the class of W6 and H6. It looks like the stroke is current color. I want to see if this actually has a background color. Yeah, so we have fill. I'm going to say current color. And let's see what we get with this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. It looks just like a minus sign or a bar, but I think that's going to symbolize the bars more than the swatches icon. So on the dashboard here, right, whenever you log in, I probably want to show the users bars and the sites that they have, because those are going to be the two main things that people add. They're going to add a bar, and then they're going to add a website. And I mean, I'm trying to think of, typically people just add bars and then they can associate a website with it. So I'm not even sure if we're going to have sites, but I'm going to keep it there for now. So let me modify this dashboard, and then maybe I want to have a table view of the current bars that the user has. Let me see how we're doing on time. Yeah, we're about 15 minutes, so I think we're good. Okay, so to get to our dashboard, this is inside of, where are we at? Dashboard index. Yes, we have welcome to your dashboard. Let me just remove all this and say, hey yo, just to make sure that we've edited the correct file, and we have. So I'm going to go to tailwindui.com and check out some of the tables that they have. So I'll say tables, and here are the tables right here. pretty straightforward. I do like these edit buttons over here because we'll probably have like, the first one will have like a name for their bar, maybe the site that it's allowed to be on, and then some more information about it. I wonder if there's any more advanced tables. Data display. Okay. Those tables will probably do just fine. So we'll say tables. Oh, stacked lists. Maybe that one's actually better. That's kind of cool, but yeah, maybe the tables is the way we want to go. Okay, so we have the tables here. Let's look at the difference between these two. It says simple striped, simple with avatars and a status. I mean, I could always add that status later. So maybe we'll just go with the simplest one right here. Simple striped. Yeah, so let's take this code and paste this into our dashboard. Okay, so I'll probably want like an H2 up here that then is going to have the icon. So we're going to have bars. You define that bar icon. And we'll just say bars. So I know that I want this to have a class of flex, and maybe I want text LG, and I want the font to be bold. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how our dashboard looks. Not quite what we're expecting. So I probably need to wrap this whole thing inside of a container and then add wfull and then also make it flex column. So we'll say div class equals wfull flex, and we want that to flex column because we want them to be stacked on top of each other instead of side by side. And let me make sure this div is closed with this one. Yeah, it just didn't look like it formatted correctly. Let's go ahead and format that. There we go. Helps me get a better visual representation if I can see that this one is tabbed over one and then the last one is tabbed over. So we'll add that closing div. And that's a little bit better. So we probably also want to have a padding around this. So maybe we'll have P-10. Yeah, that looks pretty good so far. So we have our bars. Maybe we want this to be text. We'll say XL. And maybe I want this to be W8, H-8, and MR-2. I probably want to also have a margin bottom of 5. Take a look at that now. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I don't know if these are actually aligned correctly. Let's see. So if this is flexed and we have items, center, yeah, that looks quite a bit better. And maybe I do want to bump this down. Maybe I'll just keep it W6 and H6. That looked a little bit better. Okay. So we have bars there, and maybe we want to have like a new button right here. So maybe the user wants to be able to click on new and they can click on new bar, or they can obviously click on edit. So by default, they're not going to have any bars, and we'll have to show a message like if they don't have any bars at the beginning, like that will say click here to add a new bar. But I think first we'll add a button to the right of this text. So again, I'm just going to use some buttons from Tailwind UI. So we'll say buttons. And I always do kind of like this muted text. It just looks really nice. We have the plus icons too. I guess I could add a plus sign there, but I think we'll just go with maybe this small button right there. So we'll go with this small button And again, I'm going to need to wrap this in another flex container so that way they sit side by side. Maybe we'll say create new bar. Okay, so we have create new bar, and this is actually taking up the whole space. So maybe we need to say items dash center. Yeah, that looks quite a bit better. Although it does have a margin top. Something weird is happening there. Okay, this one has a margin bottom 5. We need to move this MB5 up to the parent. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's say that we want this also to have space x of 5. Looks good. And instead of this blue, again, I want to go with the color scheme that we're using. So instead of the text indigo, we're going to say text wave, BG wave, BG wave, and wave. And again, we could also make this wave color. We could, maybe make it our own color. So instead of wave, maybe I could even change that to fancy bar. So it would be BG-fancy bar-200 or maybe BG-FB200. So we could name it our own, and this way it doesn't have, the wave name isn't all over the HTML, or you could choose to keep it the same. It's completely up to you. So now if I reload that, now we're going to get that create new bar. And since the color is so dark, it doesn't look that great. So let's say BG wave-50. It still doesn't look that great. Maybe we want the text to be white. So we'll say text dash white. And that looks okay. I don't know, maybe I don't want those buttons. Maybe I'll just take this button right here. Yeah, let's do this one. And again, this is what it's all about. It's all about playing around with things, seeing what you like, seeing what you don't like, and just trying things out. So we have create new bar, change this to BG wave, BG wave. And again, maybe I'll change the color scheme later on, and this way I can just change that one color in my Tailwind config. I could say if I wanted to go with a blue or maybe an orange or a red, and then I could just change it in one part and it will update throughout the app. So let's see what this looks like now. Looks pretty solid. So I can say create new bar, and then that will take me into the bar editor where I can modify my bar and add a bunch of different settings in there. So I guess this is going to be kind of counterintuitive if we have the home and the bars and the sites. So if we have everything right there, like this would probably be in the section where you clicked on the bars. And maybe we'll change that later on, but I'll just keep on going with this. So name, we're going to have the name of the bar. See, I don't know if we're going to need a title. I'm trying to think of the different kind of options that you would need for your bar. So you probably definitely want to have a name for it. Maybe you want to have the site that it's for. And then you could have a status. Maybe it could be active or inactive. So maybe those are the 3 that I want to have. And then of course the edit, and we'll also need to have a delete button on there too. So in order to do that, we're probably going to need to create a bars table, and that's going to need to have a bunch of different values in there. So let's see how we're doing on time. We got 4 minutes. I think we can create a bars migration, and this will add a few rows or columns to the database. And then we'll go ahead and submit this to GitHub, and we'll be done for the day. And then I think tomorrow we'll pick back up and we'll modify more of our dashboard. So let me go into my sites, fancy bar site. I'm going to say PHP artisan make migration, say create bars table. Okay, so now that our bars migration table has been created, I can go into database migration, and there we have the bars table. So I think I'll probably have a column for the name, so that'll be a string. We'll say name, and I think by default, so we probably don't want this to be empty. So we don't need that. That can't be nullable. Trying to think if we'll also need like a generic slug for this. I'm trying to think of that use case. So maybe every single bar that we add to a user site, we have a unique hash that is maybe where the file is located, or that's even just how we look it up. Just because changing up multiple IDs, like if we were to say that we had a script that somebody could embed that has like bars/1.js, somebody could then, they know exactly where the other file is at. It would be at 2.js, 3.js. So maybe we're going to create another table and just call this hash. Or again, I could even call this slug, and then we know that this is the slug or the hash. And this is not going to be nullable, so we'll keep that. And the table, and we also need to refer to that specific bar. So we have all the bars inside of this bars folder. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we need to reference which specific template that we're using. So maybe we have a integer, and that's going to be template. And again, I don't know if I want to make this an integer, because I don't know if 0, 1 and 0, 2, if those are actually what we're going to refer to it as. So maybe I just want to refer to this as a string. Template, and we'll say default is going to be 0, 1. And this could always change later. So we have the name, the slug, the template, and then we're also going to need to have a table that references the specific site. So this is going to be integer, and it's going to be site ID, and we would need to set up a foreign key for this. But for now, I think we'll probably create the sites table in the next video. So we have integer site underscore ID, and this should be unsigned. Okay, so let me go ahead and run this migration. Say PHP artisan, migrate. And now if we look inside of our database, let me open this up. Localhost. Okay, so now we have our bars table, which has an ID, name, slug, template, site ID, and then the timestamps. So we got about 30 seconds left, and I think what I'm going to do is just submit this code to GitHub, and then we will take off where we left off tomorrow. So let me go ahead and do that now. Git status. I usually run that every single time. I don't know why. I'm sure many people do that too. So we're going to say git add all, git commit, adding updated dashboard functionality. Okay, so now if I go to the GitHub repo, that means our time is up. Okay, so now if I go to my GitHub repo, I have the updated code here, and I actually do have 2 tags, which is from the 7th episode and the 8th episode, so I'm going to create a new release. And this is going to be 0.9, and because this is episode 9. For episode 9. And I'm usually going to put all the YouTube links here just so I can refer back to this later. It's kind of cool just to be able to document every single step of the process. And then you can always refer back to the old video and you can see what you were building when you made this release. So I'm going to publish this release. And we'll go back to our dashboard. So we kind of just modified our dashboard a little bit. It doesn't seem like we did too much in this video, but we did change the color scheme, the default color scheme. We added a table to our dashboard, and we also created this create new button, and we created our bars migration. And that was, I guess that's pretty good for only a half an hour work, but I think we'll pick up tomorrow where we left off, and we'll create a new sites table, and then we'll also maybe show some actual data right here that pertains to the specific bars and the specific sites. So that was it. Thank you for hanging out with me as we create a software as a service together. I hope you guys have a great day, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow.